Hi everyone. Today I'm gonna talk about my story, how I ended up in Miami. My name is Fernando. I'm from Las Palmas de Gran Canaria in the Canary Islands in Spain. I was living in Barcelona. I moved to Barcelona to find a job. I was taught to, like the classical, like go to the school, go to the university, find a job, build a career, retire, you know. And during on this path, being in Barcelona, having different jobs, I get I learned the reality. So I was taught, or I got the illusion back then of finishing I did a chemical engineering. I have a chemical engineering degree. So finish this, and my dream was like finding a job where I can be creative or technical, learn and be listened, be proactive, have the chance to be proactive, and if I work hard, I can be promoted with a nice salary. And so, yeah, it was very naive, as you can tell. The reality was the salary is very poor. You can barely survive or get some savings. And the environment most of the times very toxic. The ones that are promoted are more kind of people no competent, but like snakes, playing dirty, socially in the working environment, whatnot. So I was during that time like being curious about with some friends that are entrepreneurs with small businesses, trying to learn a little bit more, like a curiosity, not like to really learn and absorb. That's more like, I'm curious. I'm a curious person, and back then I started being curious about this instead of being curious about nature or story or whatever. And so at the same time, I got some ideas like things that doesn't exist, but what if? Oh, so like, and that's it. It's like you have an idea or whatever. Like, and running the time, I was more like that thing went like deeper, and I started taking notes, like my ideas or how can I develop this. Taking notes on my laptop, like drafts, 2, 3, 4 ideas. But that's it, not thinking like to make this happen. Like for me, it was like, how? I am nobody, I have no resources, no network, no money. But just like a hobby, or like when someone writes a diary or a story, like I want to write a poem, I don't want to publish it. Just some people write music and they don't want to be musicians, but they ended up being musicians with what started being a simple impulse to do something or to write something you have within you or whatever. So same with me, but with disruptive ideas. And running the time, I was realizing this kind of having a career, so working from 9 to 5, from Monday to Friday, 2 4 weeks vacation. So this is like this kind of not freedom you cannot do, and with this salary. Plus, it was not motivating, like not enjoying what I'm doing, not a purpose, like not taking the purpose of the company mine and being involved like mine, not only working for money. So okay, then I create my job and I create my purpose. If I cannot be aligned with a company's purpose, I create my own purpose. And also create the money I deserve, not a shitty salary, like wealth, like at least something decent, to live with dignity at least, So I was step by step, and at the same time I was in the community of Yados Fitness. He has a YouTube channel as well in English, I am Yados, LLADOS, I am Yados. He's a life coach and fitness coach. He teaches discipline, and no good habits like no alcohol, wake up early, no drugs, no be a womanizer, have faith, read the Bible, write public content, expose yourself. One of the things that pushes me to starting a YouTube channel and whatnot was him. So if for whatever reason you are reading this or listening to this, thank you. Probably not, but anyways. And so yeah, he was about to make an event in Miami. He lives in Miami. And because of him and other reasons, I started feeling like attractive interest in Miami. So for these and other reasons, I have family, but like cousins of my father that we don't even know each other, that we exist. But I knew they were in Orlando and also Miami, so hey, more reasons to. I never went out of Europe. I lived in Germany, in Munich and Stuttgart, but never went out of, never traveled out of Europe, not for vacation, nothing. So it was like, and America was especially appealing to me. I mean, the continent, and particularly the USA. So why not? So I was kind of not financially wealthy, but I had some savings. And I practice this, like when you have not having fear of getting rid of your money, this kind of mentality of invest, and if you give, you can get in return. If you are like, no, I save my money, I don't spend, then money is energy, it has to flow. So I made that exercise of and I spent that money not having that much. I mean, I was not like I get in trouble of not getting food on my table because of this. It was not like being stupid either. You know what I mean? But I said like, okay, I made that. Spent 10 days in Miami. I went to Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, and at that time, I felt like this is my place. Like, wow, it was so inspiring. I felt like God was telling me, this is your place. I felt so much peace. I don't know why or how. And since then, I went back to Barcelona. It was like, I have to go to Miami. I don't know why. I don't know how. But I will do it. So because of, I decided to move to Canary Islands because Barcelona is expensive and I can save some money living with my parents' house. I was like 1 year or so. I moved to December 2024 to the Canary Islands. I started thinking about those ideas I have, and at the same time finding out how to move to Miami. I had no idea how to build or to make an idea, or how to build it, how to make it profitable, how to link one idea to make it a business. Nothing. No background on this or nothing. And also no idea how to get the visa or financial support, whatever. So during that time I was working and understanding my ideas, if it makes sense, no sense, because my ideas, so what I like is like things that doesn't exist. They make something disruptive or something that a business that exists. I get an idea, so to change it, so to make it more profitable, not like, okay, this business model exists, I copy it, but I made it more competitive on price or on quality or both, or better branding. No, it's like what drives me is more like, this doesn't exist. So I make some, disruption. And disruption, the bad thing is like, it's more original, but at the same time, it's more risky. Like I heard from Emilio Duro, is like a kind of a speaker about businesses, old school, so to speak. Like 90% of people that makes business is copy something. There's nothing wrong on that. You copy. It's like you open a restaurant. It's not the first restaurant, no? So you're copying, but you have a different kind of food, better experience, whatever, but it's copying, But that doesn't motivates me. So it's more complicated, But this is what I feel like. So I go by feel, not by money. It's not. Of course, everybody wants to be wealthy, but it's not my I have to have passion on something, and I think it's what everybody should do. If you chase money only for money, you will fail, and you will be miserable even if you get that money. So at one point, I was looking at LinkedIn. I read something about people looking for a co-founder, not looking for a job, like offering a job position, but looking at co-founder position or CTO position. And that made me think, and I was researching. At one point I found EWOR, EWOR. That was kind of an incubator or startup accelerator. And it was, this is what I was like. I was like only having ideas. I don't know how I can get support, and then suddenly I see this is exactly what I need. So that was for people with only one idea or even with no ideas, nerds that need support, with mentors, also financial support. They give you 300,000 or 500,000 depending on if you are on the ideation phase or you have already some traction. They operate mostly in San Francisco, but they are from Berlin. It's a GmbH, like an LLC or something like that. And then I applied, and so to put you in perspective, I was like, my ideas was like, this is crazy, maybe I'm crazy, this is ridiculous, maybe. No. So I have no validation, and of course if you tell this to a friend, they will laugh on you, especially in Spain. People are envious, and if you try to stand out, they'll try to put you down like the crabs on the container. If you try to grab, they put you down. So but I applied about one of my ideas, which is the one I'm working on now. It's called EcoGym. I post about this on my LinkedIn, and I have a website, but it's like a draft, but I talk about this. And the thing is, from like 36,000 people that apply, they only accept 35. And there is like a first filter. So I passed that first filter. So I was like, wow, this is like a sign of validation. It's like, hey, I'm not that crazy, So this is kind of validating my idea. Second phase, no, I was not in. Okay, they said like copy-paste email, but still, people usually that got into those 35 are at the third or fourth attempt. So do not hesitate and improve and apply again, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, positive, like, hey, I'm not that crazy. I'm not that, at least this idea is not that bad. I get like from 35,000, like maybe I researched like 200, 800 goes to the first filter. So it's like, hey. So then I was looking for this new discovery to me, Y Combinator, Techstars, these startup accelerators or incubators, pre-seed, whatever. And I saw one was Founded Institute. So they are also supporting people on very early stages. And I applied. I did what they have. The website is fi.co. You can find there they call it DNA entrepreneurial test. If you want to apply to the core program, or if you just want to know, it's like a test, like a psychotechnical test, but to see how suitable or how good you are, or how your profile is, how good entrepreneur you are, or potentially you are. They give you like archetypes. My archetypes was the visionary. I got like different aspects. I got like 900 out of 100, 99, 98 in three things, but also in two things like very low, like 24, 12. And those were like management and patient. And the higher one was like risk tolerance, decisiveness, and one was like creativity or something. And the total score was 4.7 out of 5. And only 10% of people that do that test get more than 4. So it was pretty good. I was accepted. And I applied in the core program from Miami. So they have like, the headquarters are in Silicon Valley. One of the co-founders were roomie of Elon Musk. They built their first business in the university, and that consists of having a disco in the room. And then with one day, they could afford the expenses of 1 month. So imagine that, potential, like creativity, And I'm telling you this to put on perspective that those are also like serious, serious people. And this co-founder got like, I think like nine unicorns. If you don't know what a unicorn means in that context, it's not a horse with a horn. It's a startup that worth at least 1 billion, and decacorn 10 billion plus. Okay, so I was accepted, so I got like a good reason to get visa and to move to Miami. I got that support, so that's why I am here and working my ass off. The program starts in June 16th because what's delayed. So meanwhile, I have some support because I've been trying to be proactive to get some support, but the program starts in June 16th. Now, at the day of this video, today is 2nd May. I arrived here 10th of March. So working my ass off, it's tough, it's unclear, you feel so lonely, but this is the way of a founder. So if this happens to you, it's okay. Okay, don't feel lonely. You're not the only one feeling lonely. Sounds like a paradox, but I'm here, and this is like, if the message or the moral of that story is like, if you have a dream, you have a goal, but you don't know how to do it, just do it. Just start doing something. Just have faith in action. Faith in action. Action only, you don't know. It's like what? And faith with no action also leads to frustration. Faith and action, and you will start like feeling like learning and more defining the way. You don't know exactly the way, but you start discovering little by little, and then the wide options, like you're discovering this is the way. And at the same time, this is like the inner part, but at the same time, same what I was mentioning, that I suddenly having no idea what to do, how to do. Suddenly I saw that Ewor, and from Ewor I ended up finding Founder Institute. If you are like aligned, things also from within, you start learning, you start seeing the way, but also externally, things happen, like this kind of like something happens, and this cannot be coincidence, you know what I mean? So this is it. This, if you have faith and take action and no expectations, no impatience, like whatever, when time of God is perfect, something will happen, and it will happen what's right for you. God knows what's better for you, better than you. So go by feel, go with passion, go with enthusiasm, And this is the way. Think about the vibration, you know. If you get too much stress, the kind of bad stress, don't fear stress, but the nice stress, like you push, you're going with a direction, with a goal, with faith. But if you got like frustrated, like chasing money for money, and just you thinking you will be happy when you get the goal, but not enjoying the process, not enjoying the suffering, like the constructive suffering, you will lower your vibration. And if you have a lower vibration, what you will attract? Bad vibrations. So ain't gonna happen like this magical thing, like, oh, E-word, what's E-word? Oh, let's see something similar. Oh, Founder Institute. Something equivalent to you won't happen if you are vibrating low. You know what I mean? So I hope this helps, hope this inspires. That was my story. And hope you can extrapolate, you can translate this to you, to your version, to what's happening to you in your life, and be inspiring and put the work. Okay, peace out. God bless.